Hello, America, and welcome to another episode of the Ultra MK podcast, where together we are reversing the narrative. And I am very happy today to be joined by two of my very good friends, both in which are in the space of healing and helping people throughout the Great Awakening. And in fact, one of my guests is known as one of the disinformation dozen. And that's how you might know her. So, and she's a returning guest. We're so happy to have her back on the Ultra MK podcast, Dr. Christiane Northrup. And we're also being joined with our colleague, Mark Machaud. And super stoked today. We're going to be talking about PEMF. Some of you may not have heard about what PEMF is, but we are going to dive deeper into what that is and what it is going to be doing for humanity. So stay tuned. You're going to love this episode.
That is our obligation, to inform and alert the American people, to make certain that they possess all the facts that they need and understand them as well, the perils, the prospects, the purposes of our program, and the choices that we face.
Hey, good morning, you both. How are you?
Great. We're here in Maine and the
Excellent.
sun is shining.
Oh,
It
wow, that's a change. Hasn't it been snowing up in Maine?
went through 3 cord of kiln-dried firewood this winter and then had to order more because it's been so cold. So yeah, it's been quite the winter.
But that's pretty normal for the Northeast, right? Your winters seem to kind of last long into March and early April.
Yes, but this one was colder than usual and more
Hmm.
snow than usual. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but we are still thriving up here.
That's that's awesome. Well, hey, I really am glad that both of you joined the show today because I know that we have been working together to kind of help the people and all of our networks to understand what we're doing with PEMF and what it has been doing for people across many actually continents and nations. So we're so glad that at least on this show that we were exposed to what it is and are using it. I'm a living testimonial. I've actually been using my devices now for probably going on 2 months. And I made a testimonial the other day that just about my what I've noticed in myself. And mainly, at 44 years old, I've been noticing for me, I don't have a bunch of aches and pains yet at this age, but I do notice better performance in my workouts. And my sleep has been fantastic. Like I don't wake up in the middle of the night. I go to bed and I wake up and it's 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So it's kind of smoothed out my sleep pattern. So I'm really glad to we kind of dig into this with you. And but I know, Christian, you've been on the show before.
Yep.
I'm normally I let you open it up, but I really want people to know who Mark is. And Mark, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you into onto the show today.
Well, I appreciate the question, and I'm honored to be on here. My background is I'm from the state of Maine, and I've been in just different forms of working from home for over 30 years now, and it's really given me the entrepreneurial spirit, which has allowed me to be able to get access to different sorts of technology and different sorts of different devices or products that might come along before many people have heard of them. And matter of fact, one of the people that I knew from 20 years ago is the one who actually introduced me to PEMF. My wife had heard of it. Excuse me, but in my mind, I didn't really know what it was. And but then I started hearing the stories about what it did. It got me very excited, but it all stems down to, again, just wanting to go out there and bless and help people. It's always been the life's mission. I want to get ahead in life, as we all do, but I don't want to do it at the expense of others. I want to do it by blessing others and seeing others get ahead as well. And this has given me the great chance to be able to help people in a way that I don't think the medical industry can really help them.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. It just seems like since the Great Awakening has begun, people have taken their own journey into research to learn about, in the last 100 years, what has the medical establishment been doing to improve the overall wellness and health of humanity. And they're also looking into the big food industries, the pharmaceutical industries, and all of these things, and things just aren't lining up. I mean, people are sicker now more than ever before. All the statistics and studies are showing that autism and obesity and diabetes and all of these ailments that you think, wow, it's 2026, and you think that we'd have these things pretty much wrapped up by now, but no, it's getting worse. So
Yeah.
people are obviously gravitating to other forms of information, opening their mind to other forms of technology and other therapy, other modalities. So I'm really intrigued by what PEMF is and what it's doing to my body, and I'm curious to see how it can help others. Dr. Northrup, what do you have to say about this therapy?
Well, let's start with a little lesson in the fact that our bodies are batteries and health is voltage. And every cell in our bodies, to be in the healthy range, has a voltage between 50 and 70 millivolts. When you get down to 20 millivolts, that cell is cancer. So we need voltage. So I have this little toy from Amazon to demonstrate that we are electrical creatures. I have just completed the circuit. Okay.
That is so cool.
Isn't it cool? You can get it right on Amazon,
I'm
6 bucks.
getting one. That's
Yep.
cool. My
It's
daughter will
called,
love it.
that's right. It's Steve Spangler's energy stick. And I learned
That's,
about it from my grandchildren.
yeah.
Okay. But it demonstrates the truth. And then if you have a group of people and they join hands and then you finally complete the circle, then this is what happens. This everyone um, realizes that we are electrical and we are, in fact, condensed biophotonic light. So once people understand that the new medicine is frequency. So let me tell you something that everyone knows. What does an electroencephalogram measure? Think about it. Electroencephalogram. It measures the electricity of your brain. What does an EKG do? Electrocardiogram. And here's the deal. The electromagnetic field of the heart extends at least 6 feet out from your body, and you can measure the entire biofield of the human body with an instrument called a squid. But it's like this, it's a torus field. It's like a giant donut of energy. And so the heart is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. So the mind thinks it knows everything, but the heart is the final arbiter because it's not what you think, it's what you feel. So, therefore, when you have a device with all the patents that this one has that restores voltage, then everything you have that is a diagnosis, you might pay attention to that word, diagnosis, everything that you have that's not going right with your body will likely improve with the right voltage. And that's what PEMF does. Now, there are many different devices on the market. It's been around since the 70s. But right now, we're working with a very particular set of devices that are, number one, really pleasurable to use. Like it feels like an indulgence to me to put my feet on this thing twice a day. You can feel the warmth in your feet, but what's really fun when you got someone on their feet on the device, and by the way, the feet have more pores than any place else on the body, and what happens in your feet goes all the way to the top of your head through the fascial network, which contains all the acupuncture meridians. So when you're treating your feet, you're treating your whole body. And in fact, we have this little pen thing that we use. And when someone's feet are on the device, you put this on their head, and this thing lights up so that they can literally see that the voltage is going through the entire body and healing the entire body. And we have another thing, these goggles. And I've had the goggles get rid of people's floaters, like in one session. They also energize the back of the eyes, the retina. So think about the number of people who have vision problems, or they have various diagnoses, which we will not name. But we notice that when you give the right energy to the eyes and to the sinuses and to the ears, we just had a testimonial that a woman using the goggles got rid of her ringing in her ears, which is a huge problem for people. And then we have this other thing that you put around your waist, and it's fantastic for menstrual cramps or back pain. You can put it in the front or in the back. So again, even though there are many, many devices, these are the ones that I find are the easiest to use because you can put your feet on the device and have your morning coffee. You can even watch TV. And here's the other thing, Matt, you mentioned we have so many people now with obesity, diabetes, and so on. It works for people whose lifestyles are not the best because voltage is foundational. And when you get your voltage up, you mentioned yourself, you feel more energy. I've noticed a huge change in my sleep. I'm one of those people who's like the great apes, has needed like 12 hours of sleep to really feel at my best. Now I need 7. It's a miracle. I mean, it's a real miracle. I am restored and I wake up just like you said. You go to bed, even if I go to bed at midnight, I wake up at 7. This has never happened. So even if you don't have anything wrong with you, you need voltage. So we're
Hmm.
finding that people sleep better. We had a woman on a session last night who's lost 12 inches around her waist from that
Wow.
shaken massager, and she hasn't done anything else. And she measures it, so that she knows. We know that the visceral fat in the body, the stuff that's, in the belly, is the most dangerous fat because it's metabolically far more active. You can have, thunder thighs, and that's not really going to adversely affect your health. But if you have fat in your midsection, that is very different fat, and it tends to increase your blood sugar and so on. And so that's what we're finding with these devices. It's almost like now I know that your audience has heard about med beds, right? And we're always hearing about, well, the med beds are coming and they'll maybe they're on the moon or they're used for the military and whatever. Well, I'm not holding my breath for the med beds,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
this is like a mini version. We've also found that people with long COVID who've been to 20 doctors are getting relief. But again, I'm not using diagnoses. What I'm saying is you give the body what it needs and it'll heal itself. And so now what's the difference between PEMF and EMF? So this is pulsed electromagnetic field energy, which directly protects you from EMF, from the 5G towers, the cell phones, the computers. And the number one dis-ease that we all suffer from is parasitism, meaning where your energy, your voltage is drained. And if you have your voltage being drained, whether that is by your food, the lack of being grounded in nature, because you're always wearing these thick soles like on your Nike shoes or whatever. Those came in the 70s, by the way. So people were no longer getting the electromagnetic energy from the earth. So we're all like disconnected. But when you bring back in the voltage, then everything heals. Why? Because chronic cellular inflammation is the root cause of all chronic degenerative diseases, whether that's heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer. It all goes back to voltage. And you don't get parasited when your energy is high. So you can't even absorb food or supplements. You are here on earth and you have a body, and it's your job to take care of it. It's not your mother's job, it's not the doctor's job, it's your job. And the primary thing you need before everything else is voltage. And I can give you all the things that drain your battery, and you know what they are. It's certain relatives, it's the food we eat. I just found out the guy whose grandfather invented Reese's peanut butter cups found out that there's no chocolate. There was no chocolate in them. There was no peanut butter in them. He got a bag of them, tasted them, and said, yuck. And so he brought it to the attention of Hershey's, and Hershey's has now come out publicly to say, guess what? They're actually going to go back to putting chocolate in their products.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. So that's just one of the things that
Yeah,
increases voltage. But
sure.
even if you're eating that crappy food, these devices will increase your voltage. But imagine if you're healthy like you, like Mark, like me, then you're working at a more refined level. But, Mark and I are introducing this to every walk of life,
Right.
and
Well,
that's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Well, the way that I see it, it's like unlocking your body's own potential to do what it's supposed to do. And
Yeah.
because we've been living in an environment that has these obstructive, harmful frequency or harmful food additives or things like that, this can then unlock what your body should be doing to operate on an optimal level. From my point of view, just from some of the study and the research and the testimonials and things that I've been seeing within organizations. So this is really profound to me. Like let's say it was like you said most people these days don't ground their bodies. They don't
Right.
walk barefoot on their lawn. They might even not have a lawn. They might live in a high-rise building in inner city New York or San Francisco or
Yep.
Chicago. And good luck if they get to walk on a lawn once a week, on their day off. So most people don't ground their bodies very well, and they don't really understand that we are electrical beings and that we need to be grounded. It's no different. Like I understand home electrical, and every home needs to be grounded. The current of the grid
Yeah.
of that home has to have a grounding rod in the ground. Otherwise, your local county inspector won't pass an inspection if you end up, doing electric upgrades to your house. So why wouldn't our bodies be any different? Why shouldn't we need daily grounding as well? So this is really fascinating. Mark, what can you add about what you've learned with PEMF and some of these devices?
Well, I mean, I can tell you this, and obviously we have to be cautious regarding the stories we can tell and the just because of rules out there that say you can't make claims of diagnoses and things like that. But I
Right.
will say this. The main thing that got me excited about this, because I learned about this from a friend of mine from decades, I knew decades ago. And when Dr. Northrup and when I introduced Dr. Northrup to get her opinion on PEMF and she shared it, we both decided to take advantage of these devices and order them, but we did it sight unseen. We'd never tried the device, just basically ordered it. It was on back order at the time, so it took like 4 to 6 weeks to get to us. And we never had any doubt because the stories that we were hearing from people I personally knew, how their lives were changing. I mean, dramatic changes in so many different ways, positive ways. And when we finally did get our device, we went out and we started utilizing it ourselves. And I can tell you, it's been just a game changer. And I'll actually show you a couple of pictures here if I can, to show you what this device has actually done for us. And I'll start with my foot. Not that I like showing my foot, but I'll show it to everybody just so you can really see the
Sure.
dramatic difference. Let me give you a little bit of the backstory. We bought a house here in Maine back in October, so I did a lot of the lugging of stuff and going up and down stairs and wood and stuff like that. So one of my Achilles tendons on my left foot got really inflamed, and it was chronic inflammation. It's been going on for literally months. And we got the device, and I tried it, and I'd get some relief from it, but I just didn't stay consistent with it. And on the device, you literally got 20 different levels. I think it's really a matter of finding what level is going to be best for you that your body syncs with. Because when I finally get to this specific level, and I made a commitment that I'm going to do this for 3 straight days, I didn't do any of the icing, I didn't do any elevation of my foot, and I didn't do anything regarding taking care of it. Matter of fact, I was pretty aggressive that weekend. We had a snowstorm with 8 inches of snow, and I had to go out and snowblow with a snowblower that literally had a flat tire, so there's a lot of pushing involved. A lot of times people say, oh, it's self-propelled, but this one's self-propelled going off to the
Oh,
side because it's hitting a
yeah.
flat tire. So it took a lot of pushing there and then bringing wood in again. But I'm going to show you the pictures in 3 days with just putting my feet on the device. I didn't even use the attachment, the red light attachment that comes with it. This is just putting my feet on the PEMF device after 3 days. Now, keep in mind, this was chronic inflammation. And it's been like that consistently pretty much from October through March. And I'd use this thing for a day and it would go down a little bit and I would have relief, but I just didn't stay consistent with it. And then finally I just said, you know what? I would love to have a story with this and I want to see if it really works as well as it should. And so I went on, I did this in 3 days, and this is what you're seeing. This, if you take a look at the left-hand side, this is massive inflammation. Over here, it's gone right down. I mean, when I was going up and down stairs. I have a 16-year-old cockapoo that we have here, and I have to bring her up and down the stairs to go to the bathroom in the morning. And so I was having to lean against the wall because I didn't know if my leg was going to give out. And you know, we're getting 4 quarter wood next Friday for next year, and I'm going to be the one probably doing most of the stacking of it because you know my wife's dealing with her mom who's ill right now, and my stepson who works regular jobs, so I'm going to be doing that, and I'm not worried about it. But before, I was sitting there wondering how is he going to be able to get around, walking with a limp consistently, and so forth. The next picture is I'm going to show you is of Dr. Northrup's mouth, her lips, and I want you to see. You feel like, wow, what is this? What is this? Kind of podcast is this?
Yeah, this
Body
is
parts
great.
everywhere.
We're laying it
But
out today for the audience.
it's
That's
We are.
so
unbelievable because what Dr. Northrup's been using is another attachment, and what's called a facelift wand, and it comes with a gel, and she's been using that consistently. And I'll actually let you tell the story, Dr. Northrup, rather than me telling it.
Okay, so I've had the machine since September, and then I never used the attachments. I just never did. And then someone said, I began to see the pictures before and after. We've got a little Telegram group, where people show what happened to their face. And I thought, I got to try this thing with the gel. And then I wanted to have a story like Mark with his foot. And so, and so anyway, yeah, so this is me, and this is 1 week later. Okay. Now notice these are completely unretouched. I took them with my cell phone, real
mhm.
up close, but notice the difference between the top one, and this is about a week later, with daily use of this facelift thing that gives you EMF to the lips. Now, I just did not want to do what I so many women are doing these days, like get the lip injection,
Lip filler.
the
Yeah.
fillers, because what happens then, it seems to me, the lips enter the room before the woman. That's what that's what I have seen, and I just didn't want to have those injections. So anyway, so I started to do it, and this is 1 week.
Mhm.
So, it's 15 minutes a night while watching
Yeah.
television, and,
And
easy to do.
And
And so
folks, if you're listening to this on Spotify and you don't have the visual here, what Dr. Northrup is showing is the fine lines that are in and around her mouth area. It looks like they've been reduced by like 75%.
yeah,
It looks really good. So this can actually have some visual anti-aging,
yeah.
therapy for the face or for your skin. So this is really interesting.
It is, because here's the thing. It builds collagen. What
Hmm.
happens, and we also have testimonials from like a woman broke the head of her humerus right off the shoulder, broke the shoulder blade, was told by the doctors, "Oh, just go home, and there's nothing we can do." Her husband used that red light PEMF thing on her shoulder that comes with the foot device. She went back. The bone growth that was seen was spectacular. What I am hoping, from what I've seen, because bone is electrical, we build bone through what's called a piezoelectric effect. And Robert O. Becker, in his book from way back, The Body Electric, is an orthopedic surgeon who was working with electrical current for non-union fractures. And I'm thinking this is going to be quite a device to maintain bone mass, because I saw on an x-ray what happened to this woman, and the bone mass along the fracture area was impressive. So remember, the ground substance for bone and skin is collagen. And so this device brings in and activates fibroblasts. What are fibroblasts? Those are the ground substance cells that heal wounds and keep the collagen good in your face. So I actually was, kind of astounded by that's just 1 week of 15 minutes a night. And here's the deal. You've got to see some results to keep doing it. So I
That's
wanted
right.
to see if I could get some results, and I did. And so there you
That's
go.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just think that this therapy, these devices, if people were to pair that with other things like going and getting sunlight outside and
Yeah.
going and becoming active and making subtle conscious changes and maybe the food choices that they pick, I mean, this could compound into really helping them live better with more vitality and to see even better results. But for folks that are limited on mobility or that are living such busy lifestyles and have just a little bit of time for themselves, like this could really fill in the gaps of their schedule, right? Because it doesn't take much time every day to put your feet on these devices, right?
No, no, it doesn't. And then the other thing is you can travel. There's a couple devices that are easy to travel with, which is the shake and massager for the abdomen and the goggles. I sleep with those goggles. I go to bed, put on the goggles, and invariably they put me to sleep. And then, I wake up like maybe at 3 a.m. Oh, goggles are still on, and just take them off. But so there's the foot device is, you can travel with it and people do, but I travel a lot on planes. And so I'm not gonna, and I don't like to check a bag. So therefore I don't take it with me. What I notice though, if I go 4 or 5 days without it, I miss it. And when I get back and I'm on it, it feels like a nutrient is coming into my body. Just the way that, a lot of us Mainers go to Florida in the winter for a week, and feel rejuvenated. You're putting your feet on the beach, you've got the sunlight and the air and so on. And but most people can't do that. So if you had a device that's we're just talking 20 minutes once a day, twice a day. I like to do it twice, but it feels like an indulgence. It's like,
Mhm.
all right, am I gonna, hang from a bar and do sit-ups, or am I gonna go on the device? I'd rather go on the device because
Yeah.
it's like really comfortable and you're doing good things for your body.
Because you could be sitting on your couch on your device watching the Ultra MK podcast.
You
Who
could.
who wouldn't want to do that, right? You know what, too, Mark and Dr. Northrup, I find it fascinating. Now we're living in the AI era where people are going to AI to enhance their day-to-day function. I use AI now in just some of the job strategies and planning my day and just trying to stay more organized. What I find interesting is when I go to like Grok, for example, and I just ask it, what is PEMF? Like Grok actually gives a really in-depth
It does.
explanation. And if you don't mind, I'd like to just do that real quick with the audience, just so they
Yeah.
can hear what Grok has to say here. So stand by 1 second. Let me hope. I think my mic should pick this up. Let's see here. Grok, can you help us understand what PEMF is?
Sure. PEMF stands for Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Therapy. It's a non-invasive treatment that uses devices to send low-frequency electromagnetic pulses into your body without any skin contact or pain. The idea is that these fields mimic the natural magnetic signals your cells respond to, helping reduce inflammation, ease pain, and speed up healing, especially for things like arthritis, bone fractures, or chronic pain. Studies showed decent results for knee osteoarthritis, cutting pain scores by around 60% in some reviews, though evidence is mixed on exactly how well it works long term. It's FDA cleared for some uses, like certain non-healing fractures. Want me to dig into how it works, specific benefits, or if it's worth trying?
I'm going to let the audience dig even further on their own. And because there's all kinds of, it's a treasure trove of information. And the third party verification just coming from Croc, or you can choose ChatGPT. There's a few others out there. But I encourage other people to do their research. But I also wanted to let the audience know that the Ultra MK podcast show has a landing page now for people who do want to explore PEMF therapy. Let me go ahead and just share screen with you guys real quick for those that are watching on YouTube or Rumble. So we've created a domain. You can visit the website pemfhealing.life, and you'll be able to see just a brief video introduction about what we are doing here on the show with PEMF. And here are some examples of the devices that we keep talking about. So right here, PEMF or pulse electromagnetic field therapy uses low frequency magnetic pulses to stimulate cellular activity, as Grok was saying. Mark, do you want to kind of explain what the audience is looking at here with this device?
Sure. What you've got here is you have 2 foot pads, of which you're going to have about, they're designed for people even some of the largest feet. So I think it's like a good size pad for anybody who wants to put their feet on it. You're going to sit with your feet on this device. You can stand on the device if you choose to. I personally prefer to sit just because it's more comfortable. If you have loose jewelry, take that off and then just sit there for 20 minutes and enjoy. A lot of people like to read. A lot of people like to watch TV or do whatever. Probably don't want to be on your phone. Just give yourself that 20 minutes away from that phone and take in the energy from the device. This device on the left, this is the wand that Dr. Northrup used for around her mouth and on her lips, and really helped to reduce any lines around there, as you saw. And think about that. What you saw in her picture was after 1 week. Imagine with consistent use of that, what that's going to do. And so that works very well. It comes with a gel, and you just simply go over that. You'll turn it on. You'll feel it around your mouth or around your lines on your face or anywhere that you might want to use it. You can use it on your body as well. But you'll be able to feel that and then obviously just watch the results. I do recommend maybe even taking a before and after picture as Dr. Northrup did. This wand right here is a red light therapy wand that also provides TENS. And so when you're using that, you apply that to areas where you might have inflammation or you might have a knot in your back or something like that. Or I'm going to use it as soon as we get off of this. I've got like a little bit of tendonitis in my elbow, so I'm going to go and I'm going to apply the gel right there, and I'm just going to sit there and do that. It has its own 20-minute timer. And so this is really 3 devices in one that people get to use. And again, everything you saw on my foot was without using this red light therapy wand. Since that video, I've started using it more, and it's been very, very helpful. So it's very simple. There's not much to really understand about it. You just take these buttons here and you decide what level you want to set it on. I recommend start low and work your way up, and I think you'll find what's comfortable for you. And then that's it. Basically, start getting the benefits.
Yeah, and we're just launching and becoming a part of the PEMF movement here in America. So what I would like to do is we'll probably be adding the other devices to this website, just some of the images that people can see, because from what you guys explained, there's what, 5 different devices, 6 different devices now that people can try and buy and use on a daily basis.
Yes. And they're always coming up with new stuff as well.
That's awesome. So I do want to encourage anybody who's watching this who wants to get more information about PEMF and the other devices in the time that we're putting the show together. Feel free. You can fill out this entry here below on the website, and I will personally reach out to you. We'll set up a time that works best for you on your schedule, but I will reach out to you and get you some more information about the PEMF and the devices to see how it can help you in your condition, your situation. Because we're really just trying to reach out to the public because a lot of people are living with things that they shouldn't live with. And they've tried all these other, pills and all these other things. And yeah, maybe it alleviates some of the pain short term, but we're looking for long-term results. We're looking for rooted healing. So that way they're not having to take pills and stuff like that. So I'm just a huge believer in just getting back to God's creation of the body's natural way of healing itself with everything that He's created, like the ground and the sky and fresh air and sunlight and herbs and things that have been here for way before we were here. So Um, no, I think this is revolutionary. I think this is awesome.
Can I mention one last
What
thing,
other,
Matt, real quickly? I
yeah,
don't mean to
absolutely.
interject, but that device that you saw is an FDA registered device with over 100 patents on it. And so each one of the devices that they have literally have over 100 patents on each. And so people say, "Oh, I can get it cheaper over here. I can do this over here." It's like what you're going to get. A lot of them, a lot of these devices out there that claim to be aren't necessarily even emitting PEMF, where ours are each individually tested by an independent company, and people can find out all that for themselves. But again, you got something here that works, and I just wanted to make sure that I made sure it stood out a little bit amongst all the other stuff that might be out there.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because, yeah, I mean, people are probably always, especially now with all these listening devices on our phones, anybody who's probably watched this
Oh, yeah.
episode, they're going to start getting PEMF devices from all over the place that can show up on their phone. But you make a great point of, what kind of testing have these other companies done? We know, with these devices, what the manufacturer has done through laboratories, through patents, and through all the rigorous testing. So, I think that holds its weight in water. So that's great. That's a really, really good point, Mark. But Dr. Northrup, is there anything else you'd like to share about what this is doing?
Um, I have never been as enthusiastic about getting the word out as, this is one of those things. When my brother was dying, it took, I was there for a month as he was in his final days, and it was a very good death. Like all of his friends came to visit every day, people were there, and I had my device with me. So I made sure that everyone who came in had their feet on this device for the 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it kind of gives you more like a calming sensation that you could, be able to. It's like after you get done with the workout, you're like, oh man, I could look at things more clearly. It's that same kind of feeling, like, oh, I feel like more balanced out with myself.
Yeah, yeah, more relaxed, improved circulation. It helps with improved bone growth, as you've seen, or as we've seen in many tests, in many. So it's good for bone health and all of these different areas for our health. And I think it's so important. Again, we go natural. That's my personal opinion. I always want to be natural. I don't want to. If I don't have to go somewhere and pay extra, I'll always be happy to stay at home and get my
Me
treatment.
too. I've learned more about things like frequency and food ingredients and just things that, people or companies have put profit over people. And now that we're realizing that we have to get back to people, otherwise, we're just not heading in a good trajectory with overall well-being. So, Dr. Northrup, welcome back. I know you had a technical glitch there, but please, you were talking about your brother's funeral.
Yeah, but I was talking about how the fact that this is no matter what's going on in your life, you're going to need to have your battery charged. If you work with your cell phone, you know that if you're on fumes, it's not going to go. This is just foundational. So, I intend to be using this for the rest of my life. I've got it prominently out there in my living room. I think it's something that everyone needs. And here's what's interesting. People are the average 65-year-old in our country is on 6 prescription drugs. And you're not going to need nearly as many medications if you keep your voltage high. We've come to the end of a pill for every ill. And by the way, if your voltage is low, you won't even be able to absorb what's in that pill. So this helps with everything. I don't care what your beliefs are, whether you're 100% Western medicine, you love your doctor, it's all great. This increases voltage and therefore speeds up healing and maintaining your health. So whether
Hmm.
that is maintaining the collagen ground substance of your bones and your skin, or whether it's decreasing cellular inflammation, the root cause of all chronic degenerative disease. You can't lose. The other thing we find that's interesting, and Mark and I have done this, I've done this, when people get that live blood cell analysis, and you see the cells all clumped together, like your blood gets sticky. A lot of people are on blood thinners now. This actually will thin your blood, meaning it just takes away the clumps from the red blood cells. and then they become, each becomes individually charged. So they're no longer clumping, they're flowing freely. And I think that's one of the reasons that it works so well. It's increasing circulation, and blood goes everywhere. You prick yourself anywhere, there's blood there, there's capillaries there. And this just kind of smooths out the circulation, which then takes nutrients and oxygen to every cell in your body.
Very fascinating. I know that there's a really big movement right now of people that are delving into like biohacking, and this I think falls within that
Yeah.
category of biohacking, because the
Yeah, it
folks that are
does.
learning about what harmful EMFs are from 5G towers and from things that we're living in such an electronic age. Like it seems like every year a new device comes out or a new something, and now they're moving from 5G into a 6G situation. So it's like we're just trying to keep up with this stuff, but you know, what's going to be the long-term effects to the human body? And to see that there are people out there that are questioning that narrative and that are looking for solutions. And I think this is one of the keys and one of the solutions to fight against that big technocracy of devices omitting throughout our communities and into our homes. So this is huge. Well,
Yep, I think it
I
is. I think it is.
yeah, I'm really, really glad that we put the show together, and I'm going to do some follow up with you guys because I think there's going to be some more testimonials, even from some of the listeners that are out in the audience that are going to be getting into PEMF with us. So I'd love to be able to circle back and read off some of the testimonials from some of the viewership, and we have to, keep helping the public wake up and keep helping the public find access to things that are truly going to help them feel better and live better. And so I just want to thank you both so much for joining the show today.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Great, Matt.
Awesome. Well, folks, you've tuned into the Ultra MK podcast, where together we are reversing the narrative. If you find value in the show today, please click the like and subscribe button if you would. And if you have interest in PEMF and want to look into these devices and how it can help you, feel free to visit the website at pemfhealing.life. Fill out the information in the drop down below, and we will circle back with you and set up an appointment to talk with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a blessed day.